Hello friends, welcome to my channel. In today's video, we will discuss a very important topic, and that is within Docker. So we have already discussed Docker, a deployment tool through which we make a container of the application and then we deploy this images. So again, we create an image and then we deploy it on different cloud services, and every cloud service have its own registry. If we talk about AWS, we have ECR, Elastic Container Registry, and in order to manage your containers we have ECS. Similarly, we have different container orchestration tool like Kubernetes, through which we manage the container. So we talked about how to create an image using Docker file. Again, we create a Docker file and we pull the image from a Docker hub, and then we run all the commands if we want to install anything. In case of Node, whatever port we want to expose, port mapping, then which JavaScript file that you need to run. So all those settings we do in our Docker file. So it's a flat file, it doesn't have any extension. Now today we will be discussing another important concept in Docker, and whenever we want to manage multiple containers. Right now whatever we have discussed, it was within one container, and within one container we have one image. It can be an image of Node.js, so it will be a Node.js application deployment. But one particular application, there may be requirement that it is using Redis. So Redis will be running in a different container on different port. We may require database like MySQL, MS SQL Server. So these all databases also work in different containers in different ports. We need to do the port mapping. So in order to manage multiple containers, we use the concept called Docker Compose. So Docker Compose is a tool specifically designed to simplify the management of multi-container Docker application. So where the container are multiple, there we use. And in case of single image, single container, we were using a flat file, Docker file. Now in case of managing multiple containers using Docker Compose, we use a YAML file. So this YAML file, we write all the configuration, we define all the list of containers, we define all the images that are required within a YAML file. So this YAML file plays a very important role in managing multi-container Docker or multi-container deployment. So through Docker Compose, so the name of the file in single deployment, the name of the file is simple Docker file. But in case of multiple containers, the name of the file will be docker-compose.yml. So YML file are basically used in many forms, and again in this case, just to manage, so again it is also a file in which we provide key value pair. So again, if we talk about the structure, we provide the services, then colon, and then it is all key value pair. So suppose we want to deploy a multi-container application in which we have web, we have desktop, we have database, we have cache. So all those things we just need to require web, then we will give the name of the image. So this image will be pulled from your Docker hub, then where this it will be stored. Then similarly for database, we have to give the name of the image and then username, password. then networks, volumes. So whatever multiple container we want to deploy, we need to provide that within this file. So this file contains definition for everything that needs to be deployed. So main thing or main points that are to be considered while creating this docker compose.yml file. First of all, we have to provide the version of the file. So this defines the format of the docker compose file version so that it ensure compatibility. So what is the version of docker compose? We have to first define the version, then services. Now services, again, it contains list of all the containers, because main part is services where we are going to provide detailed information of all the different containers that a particular application is going to use. Each service is described with uncounted configuration option. Then we have networks. It will specify network for inter-container communication. Since these two containers, if you talk about web and database, so it's very obvious that database will be interacting with the web. Or if you talk about any cache, in-memory cache, similarly the in-memory cache will be also interacting with your web. So we need to provide the medium through which your web will be interacting with your database, or your web will be interacting with your cache. So it will specify custom networks for inter-container communication and may specify the configuration option and network drivers. So which network drivers will be responsible for the inter-container communication. These two containers will be working on these two images. If you talk about specifically, if you talk about web, database or cache, so these will be working in different containers. But again, these containers will be integral part of the application, so these needs to communicate with each other. And volumes, it declares that are used to allow persistent storage. So where all these information will be stored, so we need to provide the volumes. So these are the main items that needs to be there within your docker compose.yml file. And then in order to execute this, you just need to run the command, and using just like in case of docker, you just write docker build, docker run. So to run for containers, docker build for creating a image of the application. And again, we can tag, we can push. Again, similar to GitHub repositories, we have Docker Hub where all the images are stored, so we can push on Docker Hub, or we can pull also from the Docker. So basically it's a very important role of YML file whenever we are going to have managing, or whenever we are going to manage multiple container. If you like this video, please like, share and subscribe, and thank you for watching this video.